week on the road and look to continue their recent success at 20th and Blake, where historically the Bats are alive and well. Tonight they welcome in the ever-changing Dodgers, who spent the last few weeks collecting some of the game's bigger names and bigger paychecks. LA has won the baseball headlines of late. The Rockies will look to make a few of their own on the field the next few days. Colorado, Los Angeles, next. Always good to be back in the Mile High City. The Rockies coming off a very nice 5-2 road trip through New York and Chicago. Will be at home this week, and they'll begin the week taking on the new look Los Angeles Dodgers. Good evening, everybody. Welcome upstairs with Jeff Houston. I'm Drew Goodman. Well, rarely is a deal pulled off of this magnitude so late in the season. Certainly in the month of August, it is almost unprecedented. But the Dodgers and Red Sox pulled off a whopper of a deal a couple of days ago. And the initial beneficiary is clearly going to be Los Angeles.
Well, yeah, it is, because they got so much in return from Boston. I mean, you look at all the guys that they got. Now, they got big contracts. And Boston got rid of a heck of a lot of money in the process. But you look at it, Adrian Gonzalez, Carl Crawford will be back next year. They got a guy in Josh Beckett that just eats up innings, and Nick Punto, who's a utility guy. But Adrian Gonzalez for the Dodgers, he fits that mold. He's back to California, where he's had so much success from just down the road in San Diego. But Adrian Gonzalez, he anchors that lineup. In his first at bat, I don't think you could have drove down Hollywood Boulevard and scripted anything better than what he did in his first at bat against Josh Johnson. He goes deep, ends up the night 1 for 5, but on the season with the Dodgers, he's 3 for 9 with 4 RBIs, and everybody just rallies around a guy like Adrian Gonzalez because he's very soft-spoken, but he carries a whopper of a stick because this guy can hit.
He's one of the elite hitters in the game, and quite honestly, LA is a much better fit for him on the West Coast than the East Coast. He grew up down the road in San Diego. He is more low-key. And Boston, I mean, you'd win 8 in a row in Boston, you lose one, and the papers are going nuts, the talk shows are going nuts. Adrian's personality fits the West Coast better.
Yeah, he was hitting .399 with runners in scoring position. That's second best in all of baseball. It still wasn't good enough for the Boston fans.
No, and Boston has a lot of other issues right now. So the Dodgers have pulled off a big trade, and when we come back, we'll talk about another element of that trade. It's Beckett and Francis tonight. downtown Denver at Coors Field. The Rockies and Dodgers getting together. This will be meeting number 13 on the season. The Rockies have won 6 and Los Angeles has won 6. Back upstairs with Jeff Hewson. I'm Drew Goodman. Tonight's matchup on the Hill, Josh Beckett makes his Dodgers debut against Jeff Francis. And if those two have a familiar ring to it, well, it should. They met in Game 1 of the 07 World Series at Fenway.
Yeah, and Beckett got the best end of that deal against Jeff Francis. And going into tonight, it's going to be interesting to see how Beckett transitions from going from Boston out here into the National League again, because he is coming back. He was pitching in the National League back in 2005. But Josh Beckett against the Rockies in his career, especially here at Coors Field, 3-0 in his 4 starts, has gone more than 6 innings in each one of those starts. And he still has the live arm. It's not as hard as it used to be, but 92 to 93 with some sink. Jeff Francis has faced the Dodgers already this year, earlier this month out in LA, but coming off the start against the Mets where he went 5 innings, had 4 strikeouts, only gave up 1 earned run. He's going to have to keep those hitters off balance tonight, and he's going to have to worry about getting out of the first inning, because that's been his Achilles heel this year, is that first inning. After that, he settles down, finds a release point for the curveball.
Well, the Rockies, from a starting standpoint, pitching better than they have all year. They'll try to continue that trend tonight. It's the Rockies and the new-look Dodgers. Come on back to Coors Field with us. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. By CenturyLink, fast speed and a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at Southwest.com. Well, the Rockies in the midst of playing 20 in a row. They're getting toward the end of that run. They'll have a day off on Thursday between this series with LA and the Padres coming to town. Well, the Dodgers lineup is deep as we have seen it in years and years. Shane Victorino will lead things off. Of course, he was with Philadelphia until midsummer. And the rest of the Southwest batting order for Don Mattingly. They'll have Mark Ellis, who was a Rocky last year for half a season, batting second. And then here goes Matt Kemp, Adrian Gonzalez, Hanley Ramirez, Andre Ethier down to the 6th spot. That's pretty good. Luis Cruz has been swinging it well. A.J. Ellis has had a career year. That's a deep lineup.
Yeah, I think you would look at anybody's lineup, whether it's the National League or the American League, and say those spots, they stack up with anybody 1 through 6.
They really do. And this is on the ground to short. Johnny Herrera just beat Shane Victorino. And on the second pitch, the Rockies have recorded an out. As we look at Jeff Francis's numbers, 4-4 with a 5.79. He's faced the Dodgers quite a bit in his career.
Yeah, this will be his 18th start in his previous 17. He's 5-4 with a 3.46 ERA. And as I mentioned in our open a moment ago, it's been the first inning. Jeff's ERA in the first is 10.69 compared to 4.52 in innings 2 through the rest of the ball game, and that's why it was so important for him to throw those 2 quick strikes to Shane Victorino, get an early ground ball out. First 3 pitches, all strikes.
And here's Mark Ellis, who is really swinging the bat well, but he's out in front of that 69-mile-an-hour slow curveball. And Mark against the Rockies this year has really been fine. 4.14 average. That's 12 for 29. 0-2 the count on the veteran from South Dakota. That's in the dirt, 1-2.
I'm sure Mark's just happy to be back playing again after that scary leg injury they had where he had to perform surgery on it. It took a while for him to recover.
And they had some significant injuries. Of course, the one that got the most national attention was to Matt Kemp with the hamstring injury that kept him out 2 weeks, and then he re-injured it, and he was down for quite a bit of time. Adrian Gonzalez talking to Don Mattingly. A couple good left-handed hitters there. That's fouled off. You know, Mattingly, you and I were chatting with him earlier, and I asked him, I said, was this, you know, pretty much an easy one to put together a lineup for once you got Adrian Gonzalez? He said it came together really quickly. The only question was, do you hit Ethier second or Mark Ellis second?
And he went with Ellis because he thought he could do more than Ethier. Plus, you have the thump of Ethier hitting behind Henry Ramirez and driving in the runs.
Well, it's hard to go wrong with the group he has to choose from right now. Defensively, the Rockies will have Cargo in left, Tyler Colvin again in center, Andrew Brown is in right, Nelson and Herrera left side, LeMahieu, Pacheco right side, and Willeen Rosario, the 23-year-old kid, behind the plate, enjoying a very good rookie year. He's steadily improving behind the plate. Looks like he's got a new glove. Breaking that one in. I'm going to ask him about that. That's at the knees on the outside corner. Strike one on Matt Kemp.
Well, maybe his other one is in the shop for repairs.
It could be. Yep. And of course, the shop is the trainer's room.
Yeah. And they don't send it out. All the trainers, and no matter what level you're at, they're the designated go-to guy to fix gloves.
And the Rockies have one of the best in Keith Duggar, because Keith, that's inside 2-1, collects gloves. I mean, he has a ton of gloves he keeps in his basement, and when he comes out during batting practice, he'll stand with one of the coaches who are hitting fungos, and he'll catch for them when the infielders return it. And that's in there for a strike. And Dugan will, he'll stick with one glove for a week, and the next thing you know, bring out another one. Today he had the putt out.
Yeah, the old catcher, the old style catcher's glove.
Yeah.
One where there's not really a pocket, it's just a big piece of leather.
This ball in the air to deep right field. Brown's not going to catch it. Short hops off the wall. Colvin going to help. And Kemp will shut it down in second. Strong man. He got a fastball. It looked like it was almost shoulder high. And he drove it to right center field for a 2-out double.
Well, the pitch on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo out of the hand of Jeff Francis. A four-seam fastball that was letter high right up there. And Matt Kemp just stays through the baseball, and it froze Andrew Brown. He wasn't sure that he hit it that hard, and just that moment of hesitation caused it to go over his head.
So here's Adrian Gonzalez. And Adrian takes ball one. Talking to him for a while around the batting cage today. This was a very comfortable move for Adrian. He's now, depending on traffic, about 2 hours from his full-time home, where he grew up in San Diego. And he's back in the NL West, where he came to stardom, and he knows these parks exceptionally well, and he knows still most of the pitchers in this division, because
well,
it's not like he was
gone that long.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't in Boston for, it was a year and a half.
This is his 48th game at Coors Field.
2 outs, Kemp in second. Here's the 2-0 on the outside corner. And the thing with Gonzalez, with all good hitters, Huey, you can't stay with one pattern, because Adrian goes to left field as well as any left-handed hitter in the game.
He can cover any pitch, and it can cover it fastball away, fastball in, slider, big 79 or 69 mile an hour curveball. And that's why he hits 300. That's why he's hitting 399 with runners in scoring position. And he got the big contract because he is a run producer, middle of the order guy.
2-1, and this ball's a rocket to right, but Brown is back near the track, and he makes the catch. So Kemp is left at second, and we'll see the Rockies on offense when we come back. The Rockies and Dodgers, and a rematch of the first game of the 07 World Series. Jeff Francis, Josh Beckett, Tyler Colvin will lead things off tonight for the Rockies. And here's the rest of that batting order for Jim Tracy. He'll have Jordan Pacheco, who's so versatile defensively, and he's versatile in where you can hit him in a lineup. He's going to bat second tonight. Cargo will bat third, Willeen Rosario behind him. Andrew Brown will bat fifth. Chris Nelson, DJ LeMahieu swinging the bat well, and then Johnny Herrera in front of Jeff Francis. Josh Beckett has been, for the most part, one of the most durable pitchers the last decade in baseball.
And he'll go out there, and right now in his career, 130 wins, 92 losses, a 3.93 career ERA. This year just 5-11, and his only previous losing season was back in 2002 when he was 6-7 early in his career.
Here's the 0-1 to Colvin, and Colvin hits it high and deep. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Welcome back to the National League, Josh Beckett. Colvin, a second deck shot. His 15th of the year. 1-0 Colorado.
It's like it was shot out of a cannon. Tyler Colvin tried to go inside, cut back to the middle part of the plate, and then just watch it fly.
Here's Pacheco.
Let's take one more look at that home run. real close to going into the third deck.
That was a monster shot. Fifth time the Rockies hit a leadoff homer this year. Second time Colvin has turned the trick.
And that's what he provides for you when you don't have Dexter hitting from the leadoff spot or Eric Young Jr. because he is hurt. You can slide Tyler Colvin to that spot, and he provides that extra punch. 15 home runs on the season for Tyler now.
And Pacheco fouls it off. 2-2. Look how close this is to looks like it almost grazed the facade of that third deck. Tell you what, if you go upper tank here, you hit the ball really far.
You go as deep as he did, you hit it real far.
Yeah. 2-2. Slowly hit the short. Here comes Hanley. And Ramirez will throw out Pacheco. Checking the gloves for the Dodgers. In the outfield, Shane Victorino, who's a Gold Glove center fielder. He's been in left, of course, with Matt Kemp patrolling center. Andre Ethier won his first Gold Glove last year, so you have a very good defensive outfield. Cruz and Ramirez, Ellis and Gonzalez in the infield. A.J. Ellis is behind the plate. There's no relation between Mark and A.J. other than they're friends and their teammates.
Same spelling of the last name.
And the same spelling. Good point. Curveball dropped in there, strike one on Cargo.
We've talked about the lack of fastballs that Carlos has seen, or if they do throw him a fastball, it's not in a good hitting location.
Well, he comes home looking to return to good health because out on the road the last two trips, the knocks have been few and far between. In fact, he has just one hit. It was a home run in Chicago his last two road trips. 0-2. And Cargo gone on 3 pitches. So Beckett went soft, and then came with the fastball. And Cargo's woes continue. 2 gone, and that'll bring up Rosario. Is fouled off out of play. We were talking about this a little bit yesterday. The frequency with which Willeen has hit home runs, one every 13.85 at bats. It's the best of any catcher. It's also third best in the National League. The only guys who are hitting home runs more frequently are Giancarlo Stanton and Ryan Braun. And then if you look at the ratio with rookie catchers since '74, Matt Noakes, the former Tiger, and then the future Hall of Famer Mike Piazza is third, and Rosario's ahead of his pace. Mike Napoli has hit a lot of home runs.
Well, and if you think about Piazza with the Dodgers and the Mets and all the home runs that he hit, you didn't think about as anything that happened behind the plate. It was, man, this guy could hit. Matty Noakes had really 1 or 2 good years there, but he didn't have the long career that Piazza did. 35 home runs as a rookie for Mike. That's a major league record for a catcher. That happened back in 1993.
They're so hard to find, good catchers, and then good catchers that hit and hit for power. That's why Big Fuss was made with Joe Mauer. He's not a super power hitter, but he's such a gifted hitter. And then he doubles as a very good catcher. So that's an unusual commodity in the game.
But he loses value though if you put him at first base.
Not looked upon in the same way.
Right.
Well, a guy that you played with, who's He's going to go down as one of the greats of all time, Pudge Rodriguez. A guy who hit 300, a guy who hit the ball out of the ballpark on occasion.
A lot of doubles, but he controlled the running game.
Absolutely. Rockies up 1-0, 2 outs in the first, and the breaking ball by Beckett strikes out Willeen Rosario. Tyler Colvin got the Rockies going with a monstrous shot to right. 1-0 men in purple.
Thanks to Tyler Colvin's home run in the first. Time now for the Chevy Dare to Compare, brought to you by the Chevy Equinox. 32 highway miles per gallon, outperforms its competitor. Chevy, made for Colorado. When you take a look at how the pitching staff has done over the course of the last 2 weeks, the Rockies have had some success. They're 10-4, and in that, it's the starters that are 3-2, the hybrid pitchers are 4-1, and the relievers are 3-1. So when you take a look at the way this four-man rotation has shook out with those bridge pitchers in the middle, it seems like everyone, Drew and Huey, is contributing at this point. And with the close games, you let Betancourt get some saves. It's nice to see the entire staff having a hand in what the Rockies are doing.
Yeah, no question. This ball driven to deep center field. Colvin's going to make the catch. Hanley Ramirez hit it about 410 feet for an out. The starters, to embellish what Jenny's talking about on that road trip, a 2.25 ERA. All season long, we've been talking about the starters for the Rockies with an ERA well above 6. So they have kept the Rockies in the ball game and then handed it off to the hybrids, who've done a good job, the bridge guys.
Yeah, and if you think about a lot of those wins on the road trip where they went 5-2, they weren't high-scoring affairs. They were lower scores, and you were winning. You had the 1-0 win. So you look at that, you don't need to score a ton of runs if your pitching's doing their job.
That's right. And it's delusional. I don't care what your lineup is. Even this lineup that now features Andre Ethier batting 6th. Talks over that called strike, or excuse me, it was a ball call by James Hoy. It's delusional to think you're going to score a ton of runs every night because you have an all-star lineup. It just doesn't work that way. Ethier, coming into yesterday's ball game, Huey, 10 consecutive hits, 2 shy of tying the major league record. He was called out on strikes in his first AB yesterday.
But he did break a Los Angeles Dodger record held by Ron Cey, and also tied a Brooklyn Dodger record with 10 straight. That'll raise the average.
I don't care what level you do that in, much less the big leagues.
Well, including his 4th hit on Saturday night was a home run off a left-handed pitcher, something that he has struggled against this year.
Yeah, Ethier against lefties this year, hitting just .224. And that average will go down slightly. 2 outs on the comebacker. And that'll bring up Luis Cruz. Join in on the conversation with Toyota Talk. We'll do it in the 6th inning. Text Toyota to 720-720. Questions, thoughts, insights. And if you text right now, you'll be entered to win a 1-year family membership to the Denver Zoo. So you can see, among other things, the new Toyota Elephant Passage exhibit. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Jenny Cavnar. This is a lineup filled with big names now. And then you see Cruz. You say, well, who's Luis Cruz? Well, he's a 28-year-old journeyman that has been their leading hitter pretty much and most productive hitter since the All-Star break.
Just in the last 14 games, he's taken his average from 238 to over 300 to 301.
Hitting 358 in August, but that was a short AB. Oh, everybody's running off the field. You're right. That ball was nicked and hit the dirt. So.
And right away, Cruz is pointing to the ground that it did hit the ground. The Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo will show that. Just nicked.
I don't think he hit that.
No. Well, it sounded like it, but then when it came out of the glove, that's why. If we slow that down, I'm not sure he did, but just the way he pointed and said.
He swung underneath it, which is, that's. Francis tried to paint the outside corner, just missed at 88.
Now, did he foul it off? This will. Well, I don't think so.
Chance for Johnny Herrera.
Out anyway.
No harm done. Jeff Francis cruises through the 2nd inning. The Rockies have a 1-0 lead on the Tyler Colvin home run. Time for our Mako Big Hit of the Week. Brought to you by Mako. How about a pinch hit 2-run home run by Josh Rutledge on Saturday. And then Andrew Brown with his first career home run. That tied it up. Hit it completely out of Wrigley Field. Check out your local Mako for collision repairs and auto painting for as low as $349. Visit Mako.com today.
So I asked Andrew, did you get the ball back? And he said, yes, I did. Yesterday, finally, the guy came back and he wanted a truckload of stuff. And it eventually came down to a signed bat.
So it's kind of like a typical athletic negotiations.
Wheeling and dealing.
Ask for the world,
well, settle
for a thimble.
Yes. Andrew he just said he was happy to get the baseball.
Yeah, he was really excited about that. It's fouled off. 1-2. Josh Beckett comes at the right time for the Dodgers. Not that there's ever a bad time to acquire a pitcher of his ability. But Chad Billingsley's on the disabled list with inflammation in his elbow, and Don Mattingly, the first MRI didn't reveal anything seriously wrong. When we talk serious, you're always talking about the ulnar collateral ligament, the UCL, which if it's torn leads to Tommy John surgery. But they want that elbow to calm down, and they're going to do another MRI in about a week. That just missed.
And they're also missing Ted Lilly.
Missing Ted Lilly.
But the way Billingsley had been pitching after the All-Star break, that really hurts Don Mattingly and his club.
He said as much today. He said, we have a great lineup. He said, but it still comes down to pitching. 3-2. And Brown drives it home run distance.
Heads up.
Out on the concourse, in fact. But foul.
People just walking along up on the concourse.
Steve Lyons came by, is doing the ball game on Dodgers television tonight, the former big leaguer. He asked us about Brown. I said, listen, he's not that big, but he's got a lot of power. He's a strikeout victim here. That's 3 punch-outs in a row. 1 out. That'll bring up Chris Nelson.
2 for the fastball and the strikeouts, and the breaking pitch to Rosario from Josh Beckett. Beckett's fastball will sit at 91, 92 miles an hour. He'll cut it. Curveball, which we've already seen, and changeups to left-handers.
Strike 1 on Chris Nelson. Rockies, despite all of the injuries, Huey, arguably, maybe not even arguably, you can only compare it really to April when they were decent and went 11-11 in the month of April, but they're probably undoubtedly playing their best baseball of the year. And it's been a who's who for Jim Tracy in the lineup each night, because he hasn't had Fowler, he hasn't even had Rutledge of late.
Well, other than Carlos Gonzalez and Chris Nelson in tonight's lineup, those are the only 2 guys that were in the opening day lineup. But it's also a chance for the young guys to come up and show something. They give you a spark of energy. Jordan Pacheco, Charlie Blackmon's back up with some injuries to Michael Kadire.
He got time called. Well, right now, it's an advantage for left-handed hitters if they pull the baseball, because the wind is really blowing out from left to right. 2-2, and that's the direction of this baseball, but it's right at Andre Ethier. Who wants tacos? Remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs during the ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Pretty evening. It was a long day in Chicago yesterday. A 2-hour 23.
We didn't see that after what, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it was a beautiful morning, and then clouds rolled in, a 2-hour and 23-minute rain delay at the outset, and then after waiting a little more than a half hour, the game was called without playing in the ninth. The Cubs won 5-0. 1-1 on LeMahieu. He's hitting .375 over his last 17 ball games.
I know there was a piece done in the pregame show about DJ LeMahieu and the progress he's made since he's come back up the second time. Most of the progress has been on the offensive side. Driving the ball more, getting the barrel to the baseball quicker. Because he flashed the leather when he came up, and there's no doubt he can play second base. was, could he hit? He's answering that right now.
No swing. They check it out with Jim Joyce at first.
Crew chief Jim
yeah,
Joyce.
He's umpiring during the evening and saving lives during the afternoon. Seriousness,
yeah.
He was able to do that recently. Administered CPR.
Still be remembered for that call against Galarraga in Detroit, but if there's, to me, there's not a better umpire in the game than Jim Joyce.
And you know what he's going to be remembered for as much as missing that call and taking away Armando Galarraga's perfect game is how he handled it in the aftermath, and also how Armando Galarraga handled it in the aftermath.
Class.
You can underline that and put it in bold print. 1-0 Colorado. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Ford Super Duty. Built stronger, built better, built Ford tough. Ford Super Duty. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Sonic. Try Sonic's all-new Hickory Flat Melts. They're like a barbecue feast in the palm of your hand. We go to the third inning. The Rockies up 1-0 on a Tyler Colvin home run. A.J. Ellis will lead things off against Jeff Francis. 8-9-1 for Los Angeles here in the third inning. A.J., one of the most patient hitters in the National League. And he takes inside. It's 1-1. Drew Goodman back upstairs with Jeff Houston, and it is our distinct pleasure to welcome to the booth one of the all-time greats in women's golf, Dottie Pepper. Dottie, how are you?
I'm great. Nice to be back in a ballpark. It's great.
Well, you know what? Before we talk about golf, this is on the ground to third. You have a family background in baseball. Your father played in the big leagues, did he not?
He did. He was called up in the late 60s with the Tigers. He was Norm Cash's backup. So it was played in the International League for the Toledo Mud Hens. In fact, I spent a lot of my toddler years in Toledo. But it was the year in '68 when the Tigers won the World Series, and the International League championship went to the Mud Hens. So he has that ring.
There you go.
Pretty cool season.
There you go. Absolutely.
It's nice to say he's part of the big league fraternity.
It is. There's a big league fraternity, and the Mud Hens also do a great job within their organization of bringing the old players back on a really regular basis, and they keep it pretty close to the vest, and they make it a part of the Toledo scene, and the LPGA has been lucky to be a part of that too. They've embraced the LPGA as well.
Well, when it comes to golf, Dottie, a great event has come to the state of Colorado, and we're thrilled because Jeff and I love the game. We're thrilled about this because I know in recent years the International went away, which was such a great tournament that Jack Victor's held down at Castle Pines. At the Colorado Golf Club next year, the Solheim Cup's coming to Colorado, which for those that don't know, it's the ladies' version of the Ryder Cup.
The Ryder Cup. Ryder Cup coming up in a month, but we're 51 weeks away from the Solheim Cup. And we've got 4 of the players expected to be on the teams, 2 from the American side, 2 from the European side. And Meg Mallon's in town. Unfortunately, she got hurt this afternoon, or actually playing tennis of all things, over the weekend.
He's just sick to golf.
Exactly. He was pretty good at it. But Liselott Neumann, the European captain, is in town. We're going to have a sponsors day tomorrow, try to get the media more educated about what the Solheim Cup is, the formats that are involved, and get them to know the players a little bit better.
Now, is the format very similar or exactly the same to what we see on the Ryder Cup side with the men?
Identical. They're going to play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days of play. There'll be 2 rounds on Friday, 2 rounds on Saturday. The formats will be the same. We'll play 4-ball, which people in the States like to call alternate shot. Or excuse me, foursomes, and 4-ball. We're going to have 4 balls in play, so it's basically better ball.
Right.
So and then singles on Sunday.
So which is more difficult, because you played in the Cup, and now you're going to have to be a coach, manager, whatever you like to call it.
Zantac has been ordered, and a lot of it. Yeah, it'll
just
be harder.
The stress
I think,
of not being able to have control over what's happening.
We're all control freaks when it comes to athletes, I think, and that's the hardest thing, is to let somebody else do what you'd want to get in there and help with.
I heard a little story, Dottie. As much success as you've had as an athlete playing the sport, you were very emotional when you got named as one of the assistant captains.
Well, I was. This event meant a lot to me when I was playing. I was part of the first Solheim Cup back in 1990, and I was the last player that qualified for the team. So this one hit home for me, and it means a lot. Anytime you get to wear red, white, and blue, it's a big deal.
Well,
there's no way to get around that.
And the Europeans won last year, or 2 years ago.
Did they?
Yeah.
I'm
just saying. But it was on foreign soil. They've never
soil.
won over here in the United States.
That is correct. The United States has never lost on foreign soil, and I can guarantee you we're not trying to do that again.
Now, have you gone out and played the golf club?
No, I was here for the Senior PGA in 2010, working for NBC. So I have covered most acreage out there on foot, and it's a wonderful place. I mean, to have the developers go ahead and say to Crenshaw and Court, here's this wonderful plot of land with these incredible elevation changes, and it just lays in front of you. Pick the best spot for 18 holes, and we'll figure out the rest.
Now, with the elevation,
cool.
though, change, is that a unique challenge for the golfers?
Most of the play is at close to sea level on the LPGA schedule.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of mountain golf involved. What Colorado Golf Club has done is invite the players that were in the top 20 of the standings. Come on in, play some practice rounds. We're going to let you stay for a couple days, get comfortable with the altitude, all of the environment, so this is home for you. So it's been a wonderful thing that they've really embraced this event.
Again, August 13th to 18th of next summer. It's going to be a tremendous event. And along those lines, and you've played golf all over the world, how long does it take you to acclimate in terms of your clubbing when you are playing at altitude?
I think it's a couple of days worth, and a little bit of good math. So I think if you're a sort of a low launch player, it's about 10% at this altitude, and if you're a high launch player, probably 15% with a driver or something with some sort of significance. But I think 10 to 12% is the average you would give it. But it does take a couple of days.
How's the women's game going? There's so many things on television now, and the women intermittently have had big names like yourself and some young players come and grab attention. And others not perhaps reach the stardom that had been projected. Where is the women's game right now?
I would say it's certainly on the upswing. The new commissioner at the LPGA has done a great job. We have a global product for certain. The South Korean Seri Pak winning 2 major championships in 1998 changed the whole complexion of women's golf. And now we have yesterday a 15-year-old amateur.
Yes.
Born in Korea, relocated to New Zealand, and she just 6 birdies on the back nine. I mean, she made everybody look like amateurs. So this tour is definitely on the upswing, and the Solheim Cup in many ways is the face of the LPGA. Is certainly going back over the last almost 30 years now, thank goodness.
Do you enjoy being in the broadcast booth now?
I do, so I knew what the talkback button was, the cough button. No, I love my job. I'm very, very fortunate to be with NBC and the new partnership with the Golf Channel. And Golf Channel will have wall-to-wall exclusive coverage of the Solheim Cup. So if you can't get out to watch it, you can certainly watch it at home on the couch.
Mic'd up? Or is that?
I already begged off that duty. No. I said I can't do the 2-for-1.
Dottie, how much are you playing these days?
I'm not playing a whole lot, partly because of where I live in upstate New York now, so there is real winter there, partly because I've managed to do a little something crazy to my foot, but hopefully very soon, because I'm at this first point in my, I think, playing,
Victorino's going to move to third on the low throw by Rosario, so with 2 outs, Shane Victorino is now at third.
I think I'm at the first time in my life where I say I really want to play it. I'm not happy because I can't. And when you're around the game all the time, sometimes that's not what you want to do on your off week. Now I want to go play.
What would you shoot if you went out today and you hadn't played for a while? Even par still?
Yeah, I'd get it around okay.
Yeah.
It would probably not be very pretty, but I'd scrap it in the hall.
You know what? Drew would take that right now. Okay?
Yeah. You know what? Yeah.
You'd be all right with that?
You kidding me?
Yeah.
Scrap it around.
As long as the misses aren't real bad and you can somehow make no worse than a bogey, you're okay.
You know what? We always talk about on the men's side the effect of Tiger Woods over the last 15 years. But I imagine it's had a positive effect for young ladies as well.
It certainly has. He made golf really cool. Kids didn't look at you like you play golf, really.
Right.
Now it's pretty cool to play golf. And Sayuri Pak, as we mentioned, has changed the face of the LPGA. I mean, the players from Asia coming over it seems limitless.
Right.
But she also taught players how to work really hard.
Sure. Hey, Dottie, a pleasure. Congratulations.
Thanks, both of you. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Come visit us next summer when you come back in.
That would be great.
Dottie
Thank
Pepper,
you.
1-0 Colorado. On the home run by Tyler Colvin. Jeff Francis has been terrific so far. Josh Beckett, other than that one pitch, has been very good, and his first pitch to Johnny Herrera is in there for a strike. 0-1 on Johnny. It'll be Jeff Francis and Tyler Colvin. What a treat to have the opportunity to meet Dottie Pepper, who is one of the all-timers. There's a base hit for Johnny Herrera. Tremendous player for years on the LPGA Tour.
17 LPGA wins. A couple major championships.
Yeah, a couple majors, and she was thrilled to be part of the captaincy for the women's team, and to have the Solheim Cup in our backyard next year at what is a tremendous track. Not too far from where you live.
No, just about 10 minutes. And played it once or twice, and it's a fun golf course.
bring an extra couple of sleeves of balls.
Yeah, just one or two for you three.
Yes, I'll fess up to that right now. See, I like the 4-ball format. Is that like an individual thing? So you don't like your shot, you drop another one, right? That's what they're talking about.
Yes.
I didn't like that one. Ball, another one on the ground. Jeff will try to get his 4th sack bunt down of the year.
Bunt it towards first.
It's out in front of the plate, and A.J. Ellis, boy, hesitated for some reason, because that had the potential for a double play, actually.
Yeah, he was looking at first until he saw where Jonathan was, and Jonathan had to freeze at first base because of the height of the ball. Wasn't sure if it was going to be up in the air, and so now he's got all this space in between first and second to make the throw, and Hanley Ramirez, the hesitation, he was going to go to first, and no, I've got time to get the lead runner and get the guy at second base.
Tyler Colvin up there with Jeff Francis a step off the bag at first. Colvin with his 15th home run on the second pitch he saw from Josh Beckett, and I mean, he hit it a mile. Talk about getting the bat head out.
And those are fun too, because you could start trotting out of the box. You have to worry about sprinting.
One and one, 9th time this year that Colvin has led off for Jim Tracy, and he's hitting .344 with 4 home runs in those 9 starts. Rockies enjoying a very good August. They're 14-11 in August. They've not been over 500 in a calendar month since June of last year.
Different colored batting gloves for Tyler tonight. He went with the white. He normally wears the gray batting gloves. Maybe they got too much rain on him yesterday.
So you know, I guess as a former player, you notice such things. If you had asked me what color batting gloves does any player wear, I couldn't tell you.
It's just part of the uniform.
So you're more observant than I am.
Everybody has their own particular style, and some guys like the Under Armour batting gloves or the Nike batting gloves for Carlos Gonzalez. Tyler Colvin's a Franklin guy.
Beckett really taking a lot of time. 2-2. Well, that was an inordinate amount of time, especially with a non-base runner at first base. Well, to respect to Jeff Francis.
And with Adrian Gonzalez playing behind him at first.
And I was a little surprised that Colvin, usually locks a hitter up after that period of time, didn't call for time. 3-2.
Sinking fastball.
This is chopped to Ramirez. They're going to get just one. Francis plays the game the right way, even as a guy on base tried to get into Mark Ellis.
Take a look at it. People forget that Josh Beckett, he was a draft pick back in '99, first round. Marlins, and in the National League, 106 games, an ERA at 3.46, slid over in 2006 over to the Red Sox.
He was the 2003 World Series MVP when the Marlins captured their second World Series. Off the end of the bat, look out. Pomerantz in the neighborhood. Beckett since the start of 2005, 104 and 66, 104 wins, tied for sixth most in baseball with Mark Burley. Sabathia has won 135. Roy Halladay 129. Verlander 119. Dan Herron 109. Cliff Lee 105. Tremendous pitchers who are durable.
For Josh Beckett with Boston, he won 16 one year, 20, 12, 17, 13. Well, they were quick to run him out of town after what happened at the end of last year and the start of this year.
And what you're referencing this year, last year, the whole year and the chicken thing, which, as you know, as a player, was completely overblown.
Yes. Yes, it was.
The Red Sox weren't doing anything different for the middle 4 months where they were the best team in baseball for 4 months. This year, he missed a little time with a back situation, which had bothered him in 2010. And then he was out playing golf, and that obviously drew the ire of some people.
And 36 holes. It wasn't just 18. Bad back, skipped the start.
Probably not the best decision.
No, it wasn't. Don Mattingly thinks it's a fresh start for him over here out of the eye of the Boston paper and the Globe and everything that surrounds the Red Sox nation.
1-2 on Pacheco. Well, I'll tell you what, if you can't play and get along with either of these two gentlemen in the respective dugouts, Don Mattingly and Jim Tracy, you better look at yourself in the mirror.
Self-evaluation.
Because they are two of the nicest and fairest gentlemen in the game.
And don't mistake, because we say nice, but people think that nice means that they're pushovers. They're not pushovers, but they expect you to play and play the right way, but they treat you as a man. Right.
And they treat everybody that way.
Yes. And whether it's the players, the media, everybody is. When you talk to them, you get a sense of true baseball guys.
2-2 on Jordan Pacheco. Colvin at first. See if he takes off here. Nope. 3-2. He will be going now. Adrian Gonzalez alerting his teammate from Boston, Josh Beckett, that he's going to move behind Colvin. James Hoy called time. And again, some people sometimes say, well, boy, man, that's too late. But Hoy has no idea when Beckett's going to lift that front leg.
No, and there's that lag time by the time the hitter says, I want time, till it's granted if he's looking out at the mound. But you can't sit and become a statue if you're at the plate.
Fouled off into another 3-2 pitch. The Rockies went 5-2 out on the road. They were 5-2 in their last homestand. Ball 4. Good at bat for Jordan Pacheco. Said that a number of times this year. And now 2 on for Cinco, as his manager calls him. Carlos Gonzalez coming up.
It's been a couple of good 2 weeks for the Rockies, and this was their last homestand. We talked about the road trip, 5-2. Scoring a lot of runs, and the batting average, slugging, everything is high.
Cargo would love to break out right here. He struck out on 3 pitches against Beckett. Fastball off the plate, ball one.
I remember early in the season when Carlos was expanding the strike zone, and that's back to what he's doing somewhat now. He knows that there's not the protection of Troy Tulowitzki or Todd Helton behind him, so he's taking balls that he should take and swinging at them.
Yeah, he got underneath this one. Ethier waiting, makes the catch. Rockies will leave 2 on in the third. They're up 1-0. Tyler Colvin's home run early. Energy high efficiency inning. Well, Jeff Francis got a long fly ball off the bat of Hanley Ramirez. Caught by Tyler Colvin. This is the second inning. Andre Ethier, comebacker. And then Luis Cruz hit a ground ball to Johnny Herrera. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. We go to the fourth inning. The Rockies up 1-0. Jeff Francis and Josh Beckett reuniting, and let's reunite with Jenny Cavnar. Jenny.
Hi, Drew and Jeff. We're at Rock Social. This is where you can come if you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, you're a Rockies fan. You have a virtual community, but why not come and meet them here at a Rockies game? That's what fans did before the game. About 300 fans were out here. You can make buttons with your Twitter handle or your Facebook name. Julian's going to help me out, make my button. They were giving away awesome t-shirts and some fun little prizes, and they're doing giveaways throughout the course of the game. So I'm going to take my button, I'm going to wear it, and I'm going to try and make some new friends, Drew. I know that's hard, but I'm going to try.
We wish you all the best in that endeavor.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's to go along with the Wrigley certificate she got yesterday.
Yeah, she's just collecting things.
I am collecting. That's what I do. I collect trinkets from ballparks. It's fun, though. It's good. A lot of fans out here. That's how you meet them from social media. You meet up at the ballpark.
Absolutely. All right, Jenny, thank you. 1-0, the Rockies leading. Matt Kemp is at the plate with a 2-1 count. This is one of those sticky innings because he's right in the thick of that newfangled lineup of the Dodgers.
Yeah, and Matt Kemp doubled to right center his last at bat, or his first one tonight. Gonzalez lined out. Ramirez took him deep to the warning track.
Changing speeds again. It's a 2-2 count. Let me give you an idea of how things have changed since the Dodgers were in here in early June. June the 1st, here's the Dodgers lineup for you. Tony Gwynn Jr. has been designated for assignment, led off. Ivan De Jesus, Ivan's son, batted second. He went to Boston in the trade for Gonzalez and Beckett. Here's the 2-2. 3-2. Andre Ethier batted third. Now Kemp was hurt. He had the hamstring. Jerry Hairston, who's hurt right now, batted cleanup. Scott Van Slyke, Andy's son, batted fifth. Alex Castellanos batted sixth. Matt Trainer batted seventh. D. Gordon batted eighth. Swung on a foul tip that was held by Rosario, and Kemp is gone. counter that tonight with Shane Victorino, Mark Ellis, Matt Kemp, Adrian Gonzalez, Hanley Ramirez, Andre Ethier 6th, Luis Cruz, A.J. Ellis, and Beckett. Which lineup do you like better if you're Don Mattingly?
Well, much more formidable this one is for Don Mattingly. You thought when they got Shane Victorino and Hanley Ramirez, that was 2 good pickups. And then they do the blockbuster to get this guy and Adrian Gonzalez and take on $260+ million onto their payroll with those 4 guys.
Adrian lined out to right to end the first inning. Adrian is signed through 2018. He's owed another $109+ million by the Dodgers. Crawford, who just had Tommy John surgery and won't be available as a position player you can get back in 6 to 9 months. Crawford is signed through 2017. He's owed almost $107 million. This is in the air to left, down the line, and foul and out of play. And Beckett is signed through 2014. He's owed another $34 million. Here are the top 6 salaries for the Dodgers. Adrian's making $21 million. Matt Kemp just signed. Remember, he just signed the big deal. He's making $20. Crawford, Beckett, Hanley Ramirez at 15.5, and what a bargain for Andre Ethier at 13.5.
And they just signed him to an extension too, Andre Ethier.
So those 6 guys alone next year will make over $105 million. Easy play for Jordan Pacheco. 2 outs.
But the new ownership group came in, said we're going to make a splash, and they have. Speaking of making a splash, the Rockies Community Children's Book Drive is September 2nd. Your new or gently used children's books will benefit Denver's Health Reach Out and Read program. Cash donations are also appreciated. Collections will take place at all gates September 2nd. The Children's Book Drive, courtesy of Denver Health.
2 outs, nobody on. Hanley Ramirez hit a long fly ball to center field his first time up. He takes ball 1. Some good news from down in Tulsa. Both Troy Tulowitzki and Jason Giambi in the lineup tonight, and both swinging it well. Giambi's 2 for 3, and Tulo is 2 for 3, including a solo home run.
Tulo's DHing tonight. Giambi is playing first base. Both will come to Denver tomorrow, be reevaluated, work out with the ball club, and then they'll go down to Colorado Springs and start playing for the Sky Sox.
And again, they're not going to return before the 1st of September.
At the earliest. Now, it could be a few days after that. You don't want to rush them.
And they won't pile on the rest of the year. You're not going to see Tulowitzki play 20 straight ball games or something like that. 2-1 on Hanley Ramirez. 3-1. Hanley hitting .375 against the Rockies this year. Well, we're in the midst of the preseason schedule in the NFL. And I've said this many times about Hanley Ramirez. Sometimes the loose jerseys that are in vogue now in Major League Baseball don't do it justice. This guy's built like an NFL strong safety. He's 225 to 230 pounds, and he is sculpted. Strike 3 on the outside corner. What an inning for Jeff Francis. Kempe struck out swinging. Gonzalez a 3-hopper to first, and Ramirez, he catches looking. Rockies leading 1-0. Middle of 4 at Coors Field. sixth inning home run. Bottom of the fourth inning, Willeen Rosario, Andrew Brown, and Chris Nelson against Josh Beckett, making his Dodgers debut. First time back in the National League since 2005. AT&T trivia question on a Monday night at the ballpark. When was the last time a pitcher threw a complete game shutout in the deciding game of the World Series? And now Rosario calls time. Willeen struck out his first time up. Francis has allowed one hit, Beckett two. One of the hits went over the wall. I mean, way over the wall.
4 strikeouts for Francis.
You realize the Red Sox 30-38 at Fenway this year. And now for Beckett and Gonzalez, that's somebody else's problem. But they've had just 9 losing seasons at Fenway Park since 1934.
I think the guys look forward to going playing out on the road now. All the hoopla surrounding the Red Sox and the controversy that Bobby Valentine has surrounding him. Also 9.5 games back heading into tonight in the wild card. They won tonight.
Not 31-38. This is popped up and is going to move out of play.
13.5 back in the division are the Red Sox.
Well, the Dodgers begin play tonight 2 games out in the NL West. The Giants are leading, and the Dodgers are behind the Cardinals for the final playoff spot, that second wild card in the National League. Breaking ball misses. Here's the wild card look. Right now Atlanta would be in, and St. Louis would be in also. That should, you know, include St. Louis, and then a game and a half back of the Dodgers.
St. Louis is beating Pittsburgh.
High fly ball, deep center field. Kemp going back, and he'll make the play as Rosario just missed that. He got it on the barrel, just got underneath it. Well, in the greatest season for the Colorado Rockies, they found themselves in the Fall Classic in 2007, unbeaten when they arrived at Fenway on October the 24th after 9 days off. Beckett and the Red Sox would get the better of Jeff Francis and the Rockies. Of course, the Red Sox would go on to sweep the Rockies. Jeff Francis, still very fond memories of that night at Fenway, even though it did not turn out the way he would have liked, Rockies fans would have liked. In fact, he keeps a photograph of when the teams were lined up for the national anthem. Here's a photograph in his home.
That was the second year the Rockies, or the second time that year that the Rockies had went to Fenway. They went earlier for interleague play, and they beat Josh Beckett there when Beckett was 9-0 for the Red Sox. Gave him his first loss that year. And I'm still, if you could play the coulda, woulda, shoulda card, how would that have played out if they didn't have those 9 days off?
Boston was a better team, objectively.
Yes.
But it would. I don't believe it would have been a sweep. I really think. I mean, the Rockies' momentum is so important, and the Rockies had the greatest momentum of any team maybe in October history, with how they rolled through the end of September and then swept their way to the World Series. I think it would have been a longer series, but Boston was the better team, and I think ultimately that would have played out. But who knows? I mean, 9 days off's a lot.
In baseball, it's the equivalent of a month.
Andrew Brown is gone. Chris Nelson with 2 outs will come up. Nelly hit a fly ball to right field his first time. I think all Rockies fans won't ever forget that 2007 run in the World Series. And Jeff, you and I, we were covering it on the pre and post game side, and I kept pinching myself as if to say the Rockies are in the World Series. This ball's a gapper to left center. And Chris is going to kick it in, head to third. He's going to get there easily. A 2-out triple for Chris Nelson.
Second triple on the season for Chris, and he made the decision when he hit second base and he saw where the relay throw was going, because he was going to stop if they hit the cutoff man, but they didn't. Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, sinking fastball, thigh high, pull the hands in, drop the elbow to your backside and let it fly. Now, when they didn't come up and hit that lead guy, Chris just kept his head down and went to third.
See if DJ LeMahieu can come through with 2 outs. He hit a fly ball to right his first time. And a ground ball, base hit up the middle, and the Rockies take a 2-0 lead. That is all DJ LeMahieu's been doing of late. He's been staying in the middle of the field. He had a big series at Wrigley, and that's a large base hit here in the middle of this ball game, especially the way Beckett's been twirling.
Yeah, and more aggressive swings from DJ, not the defensive ones. And this time with the first pitch fastball, he swung at it. I mean, it's going to be right in that area for him to go. And it was closer to the label than he would have liked, but still strong enough to hit it in the opening.
Johnny Herrera, who singled his first time, fouls that offering off. 2-0 Colorado, a triple by Nelson and a single by DJ LeMahieu.
It was a quick 2-out run, triple, next pitch, score him.
And a line shot center field. Kemp's playing shallow, and he'll make the catch. So the Rockies put another one on the board. They have a 2-0 lead as we go to the 5th. Colorado, take a look at the road ahead, powered by your Colorado Hyundai dealers. Step up to the plate, get more miles per gallon with the hottest car line in America, Hyundai. Here's what's on the menu the next few days. The Rockies and Dodgers tomorrow at 6 p.m. again on Root Sports, the pregame show. No television Wednesday. Thursday is an off day. And then the Rockies will welcome in the Padres with Bud Black on Friday. We're back on the air again at 6 with the pregame show right here on Root Sports. This season, save responsibly when you shop at your Colorado Hyundai dealers. Check it out at coloradohyundai.com. So we go to the 5th inning. Andre Ethier, Luis Cruz, A.J. Ellis, 6, 7, and 8 for the Dodgers. Jeff Francis has been magnificent. Here's a comparison between he and Beckett. Both pitchers in the 60s in terms of number of pitches thrown. Ethier hit a comebacker his first time. And it's line foul into the seats.
Part of the success for Jeff tonight has been first pitch strike, 10 of 15. But he's able to mix all of his pitches in.
Yeah, Huey, I'm just thinking about Ethier batting 6th. Good pitch, 1 and 2. And Andre, though he has scuffled against left-handed pitching, when you think of truly clutch hitters with the game on the line, when you think of guys that seem to ratchet it up a couple of notches when there's runners in scoring position, one of the first guys in the National League that has to come to mind the last few years is the former Arizona State star Andre Ethier. And now he's hitting 6th.
Yeah, and he has 75 RBIs on the year, which is 16th in the National League. But think about the lineup that they rolled out earlier. So he didn't have the guys on base like he has had in previous years, or like he's going to have for the next 36 or 37 ball games for the Dodgers. And Andre Ethier, he's had to do something different. He had a bone bruise on the bottom of his hand, so now he's choking up on the bat. That's why he's 1.5 to 2 inches off the knob.
And he's going to hit another comebacker. The ability to change speeds. And Jeff has been masterful so far this evening. 1 out in the 5th. Luis Cruz will approach. Wells Fargo customers, pay attention. Get 2-for-1 Rockies tickets by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Brought to you by Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Cruz hit a ground ball to short. And that's a base hit to center field. Just the 2nd hit for LA. A.J. Ellis will take his turn. Dodgers lost yesterday afternoon at Dodger Stadium to the Marlins 6-2 in one of the stranger games for LA this season, in that they left 16 men on base.
They were 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, 2 for 17. You get 17 opportunities to drive in a run. You think at the end of the day you're scoring a bunch of runs.
Well, at least double digits.
That's what Don Mattingly said after the ball game. He said we had 11 hits, we had 17 opportunities. He said we could have scored 10 easily. Instead, it was a 6-2 loss. That's baseball.
Well, it makes the flight home for the Miami Marlins that much better, flying all the way across the country at the end of a long road trip that started here in Colorado.
And Stanton did some damage in his hometown. Hit 3 home runs over the weekend. He's got 29 now.
But his biggest prize that weekend was getting a picture with Vin.
And he tweeted that this morning. He said, I could check that off my bucket list. I got to meet Vin Scully.
How long is your bucket list, though, when you're 22 or 23 years old?
I didn't know
I didn't know they had bucket lists.
At 22.
Right?
A little more insight into what Giancarlo Stanton's all about.
He had a big smile on his face, too.
And again, the great news that the incomparable Mr. Scully will be coming back for a 64th season behind the microphone calling Dodger baseball. And you can't just say LA Dodger baseball. You have to say Dodger baseball.
He did say it. If the Dodgers go back and play in Yankee Stadium, he is going back to call those games because he doesn't travel outside of Arizona or California anymore.
Fouled off, and the preliminary schedule is out, and it does have the Dodgers going to Yankee Stadium. And the reason it's not released publicly is when it comes out initially, all the teams that put in, requests for certain changes and deviations, and then Major League Baseball tries to accommodate where they can, and then the computer smokes and that computer breaks, and they put that information in another computer, and then they spit out a schedule that everybody will comply with in 2013.
And everybody will complain about.
Here's the 2-2, and it's fouled off again by A.J. Ellis.
I couldn't even imagine having to, one, write the program for that, and two, thinking about all the teams and all the special requests and days off and this and the rules with Major League Baseball and the association. How you come up with the schedule?
And it's become more difficult because now with the Astros going to the American League, there will be interleague play throughout the season. I mean, your last series of the year is somebody's going to be playing a team from the other league. This ball's lined to deep left field. It's off the very top of the wall. Cargo's going to fire it back in as A.J. Ellis goes to second with a double. Cruz to third. And now Beckett's going to be called over one more time to Don Mattingly for instructions here.
This came within a whisker of climbing over the top of the wall. It was a changeup. Jeff tried to turn it over, but it didn't fade away from Ellis. And just the strength he got out to that front side, kept the hands back. 3/4 of the way up the wall. And it's a double.
Beckett struck out his first time. He'll take a quality hack. He has 3 career home runs. This is not just an out sitting up at the plate. I mean, he's got to be pitched to.
He's 1 for 6 this year.
Big, strong Texan. I think this tandem rotation is ideally suited for Jeff Francis. You talked about getting out of that first inning. Get through the lineup a couple of times and then give that lineup the third time through a different look. Reneke's getting loose. 2-1.
A different look could be the right-hander that throws harder like Reneke. But Jeff, with his stuff and the point he's at in his career, you're right. Third time through a lineup, that's when the clubs and the hitters make the adjustments. And the numbers bear it out. 340 the third time through for Jeff.
2-2. It'll be interesting to see what Jim Tracy does. You can get the strikeout here of Beckett. 2 outs. Victorino will be coming up. You want to give, of course, Francis an opportunity to win, but he gets a strikeout. But do you go to Reneke here and flip Victorino around? And that's, well, we'll see. I mean, here comes Bo McLaughlin.
For Victorino, the numbers, he's hitting right around the same since he's been in a Dodger uniform, between 250 and 260, but he has more power from the right side in his career than he does the left side, even though he has more at bats. The power side's hitting right-handed. Fans get ready for the food truck roundup at Coors Field. It features trucks from the Justice League of Street Food before the Rockies game on September 1st against the San Diego Padres. A game ticket is required, and discounts and info available online.
But he's hitting from the right side of the plate, .304 this year. From the left side, he's hitting 60 points lower, .244. But Jim Tracy has a lot of confidence in Jeff Francis. He's going to allow him to go after him. And he starts him out with a slow curveball. 2-0 Colorado. The potential tying run is at second base. A.J. Ellis at second. Luis Cruz is at third base. Fastball just missed. And good call by James Hoy.
Now do you go back to the slow breaking pitch again? Or cut fastball inside?
Or changeup. It's going to be one of those three. He went cut fastball and it's foul.
Well, the changeup hurt him on A.J. Ellis. This was not foul by much. 6 to 8 inches.
Jim Reynolds was all over at the third base umpire. 1-2.
Go to that curveball. That's the pitch that he's been able to locate as well as anything tonight. Down.
That's what he went to, and Victorino did a really good job.
He fouled that off. And Victorino did everything he could. Mike Shaw Subaru super mode, pulled down. Once you get to the release point, finish it out front, and he just reached and nicked the baseball.
And he got him on a slow hook. What a job by Jeff Francis. Working out of his first jam of the ball game. He leaves two Dodgers in scoring position, and he walks off in the middle of the fifth with a 2-0 lead. Bottom of the fifth inning. Dexter Fowler's going to pinch hit. And then we'll have the top of the order here from our own Cowboy every week by visiting the Write-Up Cowboy section of the Root Sports website. Hall of Famer Tracy Ringolsby will bring you Rockies game notes and other very interesting insights into the club and its players. Check out his game notes on this series by visiting rootsports.com/Rocky Mountain. What a job by Jeff Francis. He's had some really good performances since he's returned to the Rockies. That's, in my mind, the best. Given the lineup he's facing, given the emotions of seeing Josh Beckett again, he could not have pitched any better.
6 strikeouts in those 5 innings, and including the last 2 guys he faced. Victorino to get him after 2 guys were in scoring position. But all 3 pitches working tonight, but that curveball, that was the game changer. And it's a season high for Jeff with those 6 strikeouts.
And he doubled up on it with Victorino to get the punch out. High, 1 and 2 with 2 runners in scoring position. And again, Jeff's twirled some nice ball games for the Rockies, but given the lineup also that he's facing, that was very impressive. Strike 3 in the inside corner.
Back to that curveball that struck out Victorino to end the top of the 5th. Put it deeper into your hand, take some velocity off the baseball, more depth. Victorino was able to foul the pitch off prior to that one, not that time. But the last 2 appearances and games for Jeff Francis, 10 innings pitched, 8 hits, just the 1 run, and that was against the Mets.
Colvin fouls this pitch off. Rockies got a run early on a Tyler Colvin home run. Second pitch of the ball game from Josh Beckett. Beckett's been really good. 2 runs, 4 hits. Again in his Dodger debut. 32-year-old, former 2nd pick in the entire draft. High school kid out of Texas when he was selected at a spring high school. He was USA Today's High School Pitcher of the Year. Made only 45 minor league appearances, a 1.85 ERA in the minor leagues.
You kind of forget that the guy that he is playing with now, the shortstop for the Dodgers, who they were flip-flop for.
That's right. And it's interesting because prospects don't always pan out. In the case of Hanley Ramirez, he certainly did pan out. He won a batting title, and he is getting back to the level he played at so many years in Florida here in Los Angeles. Three and 2 on Colvin. Boy, it's been a good ball game.
It's been clean. It's been well pitched. Good tempo from both pitchers.
Here's the 3-2. Down low. So Tyler Colvin is on base again. Second walk allowed by Beckett. AT&T trivia question: when was the last time a pitcher threw a complete game shutout in the deciding game of the World Series? Well, we figured you'd get this one. Florida in 03. 5 hit the Yankees. In Game 6, on his way to becoming the World Series MVP. As a 22-year-old. Pacheco walked in the 3rd inning.
Beckett knows how to control the running game. Remember, Tampa Bay was in the division that he was pitching in. Tampa leads the American League in stolen bases. Came up in the National League, so he understands the value of varying your times, your looks, slide stepping, when you can use a high leg kick. It's a hit and run count for the Rockies.
There goes the runner. It's on the ground to short. Safe there. They'll get the out at first. And Ramirez did the right thing. Go ahead and try to turn the double play. So it's a 6-4-3 put out at first. And by starting the runner with a hit, you can produce a third run.
Yeah, and if Jordan could have waited a fraction of a second longer with Mark Ellis in cover, and he would have hit the ball into right field, and that would have been a first and third. And Tyler Colvin hustling to second base.
Well, the Dodgers are going to pass on Carlos Gonzalez, and they'll pitch to Aline Rosario. Strategically, even though it's not popular here at Coors Field, it's the right thing to do.
Every manager, when you go into a city, probably not going to let me beat him. And then tonight it was for Don Mattingly. It was going to be Carlos Gonzalez. The thing, you have the youngster and Aline Rosario right on right.
Rosario a strikeout and a fly ball to deep center field. 2 outs in the 5th, 2 aboard. Strike 1.
These are the kind of situations you live for as a hitter. Walk the guy in front of you. I'm going to show you.
0-2. Strikes out Rosario on 3 pitches. Rockies lead 2 aboard. We turn the page to inning number 6. 2-0, Colorado. leading 2-0, and now they'll hand it off after 5 wonderful innings from Jeff Francis to tonight's bridge man, and it's Josh Renicky.
Josh had gotten a breather from the bridge appearance because the numbers in August had been higher than they were in July. He's still adapting, but this, if anybody's adapted to the role, it's been Josh Renicky and Adam Ottavino. A different look for Jim Tracy as he goes through the meat part of the lineup for the Dodgers now, going to the right-hander, harder thrower, fastball, slider, compared to Jeff, curveball, changeup, fastball.
Good breaking ball. Strike 1 on Mark Ellis. Ellis, Matt Kemp, Adrian Gonzalez here in the 6th inning. Mark's been tearing up lefties, 352 this year. Righties, not as much, 230. Ground ball to deep short. On the move is Herrera. That's a smooth play by a very good defensive player wherever you put him.
You just know that when it's hit to Jonathan Herrera, you're out.
Well, as Jim Tracy likes to say, Johnny Herrera is a professional glove.
You need guys like that. You're going to put him out there. Your offense might not be there all the time, but if the ball's hit to him, is he going to catch it? Is it going to be an out? It sure is.
Kemp a double and a strikeout. 12-game hitting streak here at Coors Field, in which he's knocked the ball around at a .405 clip.
Here's a question from Denny and Blackhawk asking about the umpires. They're evaluated every night on their calls behind the plate and out on the bases. They'll get a report the next day. So yes, they are evaluated.
Somebody wondering if you could talk to one person in the game of baseball, sit down and chat, who would it be? And they suggested Vince Scully, and that would be as good a selection as you could make. And Vin, because we do have the distinct privilege of visiting with him on a regular basis, he has a steel trap for memory. I mean, he can tell you stories from the 50s and the 60s, players that for most of us long ago forgotten. Not for Vin.
And a wonderfully nice man. You're a nicer guy in baseball than Vince Scully?
Nope. This is on the ground to Johnny. And a low throw. Nice pickup by Pacheco. And I said this also many times. Vince Scully, the greatest baseball broadcaster of all time, without parallel. If it's possible, he's a finer gentleman. 2 outs. Adrian Gonzalez will take his turn. Well, news gets worse for Boston, huh?
He just came off the DL.
Big Papi with an Achilles strain.
Played 1 game.
One to 0. Outside 2-0. Well, Adrian was always able to hit at Petco, where nobody can hit, seemingly. Where he has not hit, betting, and more importantly, Stan Casson, Magic Johnson, the ownership group for the Dodgers, betting that he'll turn around his Dodger Stadium numbers. Just a .218 career hitter
But
at Dodger Stadium.
yeah, he doesn't have to face the Dodgers pitchers.
No.
That's why he's too good of a hitter to hit at that low of a number.
He's hit 330 here with 14 home runs, 54 driven in.
What happened to Jamie Moyer? He was released. He went and signed with a couple different clubs, but was released from the last one was Toronto and is not playing.
Two-two, 3-2, and now there's chatter that Roger Clemens may come back and pitch for Houston. If he got a win, he'd break the record set by Jamie Moyer earlier this year with the Rockies, the oldest man to win a ball game.
3 1/3 innings the other day in the Independent League, and the Astros saying that they're thinking about signing him.
Ball 4, Gonzalez walks. And that'll bring up Hanley Ramirez. Time you put a man on a low-scoring affair, when you have thunder up and down the lineup, it's a dangerous proposition. Ramirez with 20 home runs. Yeah, somebody mentioned that they like one of our many camera shots we have of the fountains. So there you go. That's just for you. Shattered bat and slowly hit to LeMahieu. He's got a hustle, and he just did get Hanley at first. Strong inning in the 6th for Josh Renicky. Rockies 2 and the Dodgers nothing.
To add. Now, you've all heard by now about this 9-player blockbuster deal that happened between the Boston Red Sox and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Today, the manager, Don Mattingly, he talked a little bit about the deal. Of course, he played in New York for 14 years for a guy named George Steinbrenner who kept bringing in superstar after superstar. So how does he think it's going to affect the clubhouse?
Guys always, at the end of the day, they want to have success. You know, and they want to do well. So I don't care if they're superstars and they're making a lot of money or they're the kid coming up. You know, their circumstances are obviously different. But at the end of the day, if both of them are on an 0 for 12 streak and or they're getting knocked around, they feel the same.
of course, like Steinbrenner with the Yankees, the ownership group in Los Angeles is committed to winning. Now, Mattingly did say today, including the game, they have 34 games left of the season. That's a very short window for them to make a move for the playoffs, but they're only 2 games back in the division heading into tonight, and they're inches out of the wild card. So with these superstars, guys, do you think we'll see the Dodgers in?
I like their chances, but as Don pointed out, it is about pitching, and Beckett comes in, terrific. Billingsley is on the sideline now, so pressure on the Capuanos and the recently acquired Joe Blantons of the world. You know, if you compare and contrast with the Giants and now with the loss of Melky Cabrera, you like the offense that the Dodgers have clearly, but you'd favor the starting rotation probably of the Giants.
Yeah, but then you wonder, do they have enough offense, as you were talking about with Cabrera out now? And I think baseball is different than other sports where you can bring guys in and you don't have to worry about immediate chemistry like, say, a football team, everybody moving in the same direction, because baseball is a team game played by a bunch of individuals. So I think that is not as big an element for the Dodgers. Are they gonna come together as a team in the next 34, 35 games?
Two and two's the count on Chris Nelson with 1 out.
It's not like you have to learn a whole new playbook. Everybody has the same plays.
Yeah, you're right. Well, Ned Colletti, the general manager of the Dodgers, had this to say about the new ownership group. When we finished the deal with Boston, nobody, this is the ownership group, said, that's it, the water's shut off. They said, you have other ideas. How nice is that? Because their payroll just moved above the $178 million luxury tax threshold going forward into next year.
Well,
and you know, they're going to be a $200 million team.
Easy $200 million team.
They'll probably, this is up the middle and a base hit for Nelson. Second hit of the night for Nelson. Single to go with his triple. They probably next year will have the highest payroll in baseball because the Yankees have headed ever so slightly the other direction.
They're trying to stay under the luxury tax. But the Dodgers are having to keep up with the LA Kings, who won the Stanley Cup last year. The Lakers, they just got Steve Nash, Dwight Howard. They have a guy named Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, and the Clippers are not that other team in LA anymore. They have their own stars with CP3. Of course, the greatest dunker in the NBA. Mr. Griffin. So it's a town of stars. Magic Johnson did a lengthy interview today, and he said that's what LA's always been about. Bringing big stars, big personalities. Mayhew an RBI single his last time up.
And they're going to get a big deal from their television contract.
No, not a big deal.
A mega
deal. However it plays out.
They're going to bring in more than the Angels got for theirs.
And we're talking about billions. Not millions, billions. You're talking about there's no playbook in baseball. Managers wish there were. I'd like to. We're going to run the 3-run homer here.
Right. Well, everybody would like to have that in their playbook. Well, We'll celebrate the grand opening of our new Aurora dugout store on Friday. There'll be great tickets and merchandise specials and an autograph session with Josh Rutledge and Chris Nelson from 12 to 1. Call 303-690-8326 for details. That shirt will be available at the dugout store, not guaranteeing it.
Pitch number 101. And a good job again by LeMahieu to keep the at bat alive.
A foul off the plate. Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, slow it down off the plate, comes back up and grazes him on the wrist while he's still in the batter's box. Foul ball.
Strike 3, inside corner. 2 outs. Strikeout number 6 for Beckett. Jeff Francis again went 5 innings. No runs, 3 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 6 himself.
Was it inside, or did it just catch DJ looking out of way with breaking pitches? From that angle, it looked like it was inside, but it was held by A.J. Ellis, enough for James Roy to call it a strike, and that's the bottom line. Umpire says that strike 3.
Strike 1 on Johnny, a single and a line drive to center field.
Rex Brothers now up in the bullpen for the Rockies, and this is if Jonathan Herrera reaches and Jim elects to use a pinch hitter for Renicky.
Beckett's due up 4th next inning, so this could very possibly be his last inning of work.
Win for Josh Beckett was back on July 15th. He's had 6 starts since then, 0-4 with a 7.59 ERA.
Base hit up the middle for Johnny Herrera. Renicky will be called back. See if the Rockies play the Blackman card here with a lefty, or go to Rutledge.
Well, they're both waiting each other up, because yeah, if you send Blackman up, then Randy Choate, who's warming for the Dodgers, would come in. Left-hander out in the pinch, so it was the cat and mouse game between Jim Tracy and Don Mattingly. It's going to be Josh Rutledge, 4 for 7 as a pinch hitter. He's hit for the cycle of those 4 hits. We saw a home run the other night, but also has a single, double, and a triple.
In pinch hitting, and chatting with him tonight, pinch hitting, you know, this guy's going to play every day, but pinch hitting has worked well for him because it matches his typical approach at the plate. He's not going to see a lot of pitches. He is aggressive early in counts.
You have to be that way as a pinch hitter, because the best pitch you might see might be the first one.
Now there's already a book on this kid, and that's why Beckett, who has good command of his fastball, He went breaking ball on the first pitch to a kid.
Well, they have advanced scouts too. They saw what he did to the fastball in Chicago. The advanced scout for the Dodgers, and if this kid comes up, first pitch breaking pitch.
I'll tell you this much. One thing the scouting report, or at least they're not playing it that way, is they're very shallow in left and center. And this is lobbed out to center field, a base hit. Here comes Chris Nelson with the Rockies' third run. How about that, Josh Rutledge? Pinch hitter extraordinaire, who's going to be back in the starting lineup pretty soon.
5 for 8. 5 RBIs now for Josh Rutledge. Tried to go back-to-back curveballs, stays back. Short, compact stride. Comes off the back foot. Just enough. Puts it in front of Matt Kemp in center field. They drive home Chris Nelson with the big 2-out RBI. Second time tonight that the Rockies have had one of those. DJ LeMahieu with the other.
So the Rockies chase Josh Beckett here in the 6th, 3-0. The Dodgers 3-0 in Beckett's LA debut. And this is more about the Rockies grinding out a ball game offensively against Beckett as opposed to poor pitching by Beckett. I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, but talk about grinding at bats out. It's the bottom part of the lineup for the Rockies. Chris Nelson with 2 hits, 2 runs scored. DJ LeMahieu with an RBI. Jonathan Herrera with 2 knocks. And then, of course, Josh Rutledge with the RBI single.
Yeah, 6 of the 7 hits have come from the 6th spot on down in the lineup. Great point, Jeff. Colvin has the only hit among the first 5 men in the order, and that was a home run on the 2nd pitch Beckett delivered of the ball game. It nearly went into the upper deck. Aaron Harang, Josh Beckett visiting. First and third, Herrera at third, Rutledge the pinch single, he's at first. Well, here's the advancement health-wise for Josh Rutledge. They're actually letting him run for himself.
No Alex White?
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of days, Alex White was his caddy when he got on base.
Yeah, talking to him in the locker room today, I said, how's it feel? He goes, it feels so much better. I was hoping to be able to go in a double switch yesterday, but the field conditions did not allow it. It's his left quad. So to see him out on the bases, even running now, it's a big step forward. Maybe, just maybe, with Capuano pitching tomorrow, the left-hander, he'll be back in there.
Miss, moving to seconds, Rutledge. So now if Colvin threw out a hit, more than likely would have a 5-0 advantage. It's the 5th stolen base for Rutledge, and the easiest one he'll have.
He's hitting just 150 off a choke. It's the definition of a left-handed specialist.
And Colvin has hit lefties this year, particularly early on.
Yeah, but for Choate, this is his 61st game. He only has 32 in the 3rd innings pitched.
Colvin hitting .270 against Southpaws. Three-two again. Strike 3. Colvin had dispatched the bat and was headed to first in the inning. The Rockies come up with another run. Josh Rutledge off the bench in the scorebook. Another pink single. Looked a little low. 3-0 Rockies. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Courtyard by Marriott. Western elegance in the cultural heart of the city. And by Hyundai's Summer Drive Sales event now through September 3rd. Pretty night at the old ballpark. We're in lower downtown Denver. The Rockies lead the Dodgers as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Joined by Jeff Hewson and Jenny Cavnar, I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies in the 7th will hand the baseball to Rex Brothers. And the Dodgers offensively will have Andre Ethier, Luis Cruz, and A.J. Ellis. Rex is in a good space.
Well, he took it and he learned something from what Matt Belisle had told him. Just to slow things down, and you even notice that now in his delivery to the plate. Not quite as herky-jerky.
Rockies have
Pound in the strike zone.
Yeah, and that's been the key, and he gets help there from Ethier on a pitch probably that wasn't a strike. It's 0-1. Ethier's hit the ball twice back to the pitcher. At the time, it was Jeff Francis. He had a marvelous job tonight from Jeff, in line for his 5th win. 5 shutout innings, just 3 hits, just 4 base runners. He walked 1 and he struck out 6. In a rematch of the World Series of 07, Game 1 at Fenway Park, where Beckett had the better of that matchup. 1-2 the count. And see you later. 94-mile-an-hour gas. Ethier is the first out in the 7th inning.
He just overpowered Ethier on the last pitch. 4-seam fastball, hit it if he can. Ethier tardy, working underneath the ball. Whenever you're late attacking the baseball, your bat and your barrel's always underneath. It's never on top of the ball. And Rex Brothers just hopes he continues what he did out on the road trip. 4 games, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 0 runs.
Luis Cruz 1 for 2. Luis cruising, if you will, against lefties. Got 347 average against lefties. He's behind though 1-2. By the way, how about the Rockies minor league system? They have collectively, when you add up all 6 affiliates now, the 2 short season teams, the one now in Grand Junction, led by David Dahl, and Pasco, Washington Tri-Cities, combined with Asheville in the South Atlantic League, Modesto in the Cal League, Tulsa in the Texas League, and Colorado Springs in the Pacific Coast League. Fooled for a moment, but he got back there and made the catch. 2 outs. Anyhow, those 6 affiliates have the 2nd highest winning percentage of any organization in baseball, 2nd to the Seattle Mariners.
And you always like to see that in scouting and player development, because you want to start breeding success and you want to start having success, and where winning is a way of how you do things. And there's a lot of all-stars. There's 2 guys down in PCL, as we mentioned, that are all-stars. David Dahl, as you mentioned, what he's done. I mean, those are nice things to be looking at. How about Kyle Parker, what he's done out in Modesto?
Yeah, former #1 out of Clemson. He's had a terrific year. Johnny on the backhand. You know who's running. He had a catcher running, A.J. Ellis, and he fired it across. Terrific inning for Brother Rex. Rex Brothers, 3-0 Colorado. He lets his look back. Tyler Colvin leading off in the first inning for the Rockies. Second delivery from Josh Beckett. Get out of here. I mean, way out of here. Almost hit the facade of the third deck. 15 home runs for Tyler Colvin. 1-0 Rockies. Fourth inning. 2 outs, nothing going on until now. Chris Nelson unloads a triple to left center field. And DJ LeMahieu would come through in the clutch. Throws the ball up the middle on the ground. Nelson came home with the second run. And then in the 6th inning, it's Josh Rutledge getting a breaking ball on an 0-1 pitch. And served at the center field. Another pinch single, another RBI for Rutledge. It'll be Pacheco, Carlos Gonzalez, Willeen Rosario in the 7th against the former Mariner, another new Dodger, Brandon Lee. That was his split. Brandon throws very hard.
Yeah, the seamstress for the Dodgers has been busy putting new names on the back of jerseys. Brandon Lee coming over from Seattle, a hard thrower, 90, well into the 90s.
It's down the line. Ethier is going to have to bail on it. It was foul. Did you read that interview that MLB.com did with Magic Johnson?
Yes, I did.
Magic's always been, you know, a shining light in the world of sports. I mean, most notably, obviously, basketball. But when you read the piece, you realize this is not just a figurehead in baseball. He really understands the game of baseball, and he's well schooled in its players.
Yeah, and I think that was the biggest thing I took from that article. It wasn't just, hey, the Dodgers are good. He knew about other teams, and he was talking about the Giants and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's not forget about them. But he knew about Beckett and what happened in Boston and some of his numbers. And that was, you're always interested to find out, does this guy know anything else besides what he was great in?
Right. And you know, for instance, Adrian Gonzalez, one of the first things in the piece that he pointed out, you know, great offensive player, but Adrian Gonzalez, one of the best defensive first basemen in the game. 2-0 on Cargo, 0 for 2 and an intentional walk in the 5th inning. 30,148 at Coors Field tonight on a Monday. Late in August. – 3-0. The fans have been treated to a well-played ball game. And Cargo firing 3-0. It's a chopper to Mark Ellis.
Commemorate 10 years of live baseball with MLB.TV Premium for only $10. Watch every out-of-market game live on your favorite devices. But this offer ends August 27th. Visit MLB.TV or text MLB.TV to 31826. Blackout restrictions and message and data rates may apply.
Willeen Rosario 0 for 3, couple strikeouts and a fly ball to deep center. One on Willeen. Giants not in action tonight. 2-game lead in the division on the Dodgers. The Dodgers are going to play 3 ball games here and then go right back to Dodger Stadium. They'll take on Arizona and San Diego.
San Diego winning again tonight, 2-0 against Atlanta. They'd won 7 straight.
I think Bud Black's one of the underrated managers in the game.
I would agree.
He certainly gets the most out of not a whole lot. Brandon Lee, 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 7th. So we move to the 8th inning. The Rockies 3 and the Dodgers nothing. For tonight's CenturyLink high-speed pitch, fast speed, a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. Beckett topped out at 92. Jeff Francis at 87. Jeff outdueled Josh Beckett. Beckett's on the short end. Jeff Francis on the plus side. Defensive change. Andrew Brown out. And for the final 6 outs, the Rockies hope that's all it takes. Charlie Blackmon will be in right field. Continuing on will be Rex Brothers. It'll be a pinch hitter and then Shane Victorino and Mark Ellis. And the pinch hitter will be Nick Punto, switch hitter who just came over with Adrian Gonzalez and Josh Beckett in that big deal.
It was kind of like the Beatles coming to town when those 3 came off the plane.
Yeah.
Cameras following them, walking into the locker room.
Punto has reached in all 4 plate appearances for the Dodgers.
A solid player.
He's a really good player on some good Minnesota teams. Behind 0-2. Boy, lately, and you pointed this out, Brothers has been ahead of every hitter he's faced virtually.
And it starts with the head. It's staying more still so you're not getting the jerk out of the zone.
Yeah, that was a short at bat for Punto. He could have gone up there with a wiffle ball back because he never swung it.
Right out of the hand from the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. Doesn't get much better than that for Willeen Rosario. You set up, he hits your mitt, you hold it, strike 3.
Victorino 0 for 2 and a walk.
We have 15 pitches for Rex Brothers, 12 of them for strikes.
That's pounding the strike zone.
Yeah, sure, I just jinxed him.
We'll let that one slide.
Okay. Through 8 innings, the Dodgers have yet to have a leadoff man reach base. So he came right back.
In the air, left center field, long run, Cargo. He's going to have to grab it off the warning track. Victorino's hunting a triple, and he's going to have one. It's not unfamiliar territory for Victorino. That's his 6th triple of the year.
The first one wearing Dodger blue. Slider from Rex, and Victorino hits it into the gap. Chased down quickly, but Victorino with the speed and the wheels, not the long stride of a Dexter Fowler. But still the wheels to get to third. And then with the right-hander Mark Ellis, followed by the right-hander Matt Kemp. Jim Tracy's going to the bullpen and bring in Matt Belisle.
One out in the 8th inning, 3-0 Rockies. There's one out. Shane Victorino just tripled. Mark Ellis will now face Matt Belisle. Mark Kemp is on deck.
Yeah, Mark Ellis 182 with runners in scoring position.
Ellis 0 for 3.
Oh.
He'll go to first, and that'll bring up Kemp, and he represents the tying run.
Nothing you can do as a hitter. You can't back out. It's chasing you and hunting you the whole time. But if it's going to hit anywhere, that's where you want it. You don't want it on the elbow. But the bad news is you bring the tying run to the plate, and a huge bat of Kemp. 344 with runners in scoring position. That just has to be careful. There wasn't much pause or when he came set, the time he came set and went to the plate.
Kemp a double to right center, a strikeout and a ground ball to short.
I say that because you'd hate for a balk to be called.
Ground ball to third. Can they turn it? There's one on the first. Double play. 5-4-3. What a job by DJ LeMahieu. He got spilled by Mark Ellis, and he still made an accurate throw with enough on it to double up the very fast Matt Kemp. Good job by Nelson. Perfect feed. 3-0 Rockies.
I want to go back to that double play and just how impressive it was from DJ LeMahieu. First you get the feed from Chris Nelson to roll it over against Matt Kemp. But notice DJ and where he is on the bag. You know the runner's coming into you. Your foot's exposed. I mean, look at that action, but his spikes are out of the ground. That allows him to get up after he's made the throw and keep from being hurt. If your feet are locked into the ground there, that's knee damage. But the excitement to turn that double play and get out of that inning, that pumped everybody up.
Kenley Jansen, who closes games for the Dodgers, is on the hill. He's got a small ERA. This is a guy with a power arm, converted catcher out of Curacao. Charlie Blackmon will lead things off. Nick Punto stays in the ball game. Mark Ellis comes out.
You're wondering why Jansen's in the game. His last time he saw the hill was back on Wednesday against San Francisco. He just needs some work, because if he's your guy, you don't bring him in out on the road when you're down 3-0.
Strike one on Blackmon, his first at bat. Again, came in last inning defensively for Andrew Brown. Blackmon, Nelson, who's had a big game offensively, DJ LeMahieu. Rockies leading 3-0. They've out-hit the Dodgers 7-4. And this is a fly ball, as routine as it gets, to Shane Victorino. Let's check the Farmers Insurance report card. Rockies enjoying a very solid month of August despite a myriad of injuries. And their offense, National League ranks in August, #1 in batting average at .286, 4th in runs, 3rd in slugging percentage. But the biggest reason that they're 14-11 in the month of August has been the improvement on the hill, particularly at the start of ball games.
Yeah, and the start where you don't fall behind by 3 or 4 runs. You're keeping your club there and allowing Jim and the rest of the staff and the players to utilize the hit and runs, the move them overs if there's a double. Tonight, the big 2-out RBIs. That's been the key for the Rockies, and then all the runs that they've scored after the home run by Tyler Colvin. The next 2 runs in the 4th and the 6th were scored with 2 outs.
That is a rocket down the left field line. It'll be the 3rd hit for Chris Nelson. He just needs another AB to go for the cycle. He's got a single, double, and a triple tonight. He scored a couple of runs. And after we look at this replay, I'll tell you who's particularly proud in attendance this evening.
Right here, that's where it is. It's a belt high hanging pitch. 277 average for Chris Nelson now.
The Rockies have a number of their scouting supervisors in town. They are the lifeblood, as you know, Jeff. You were an instructor, played in the big leagues for more than 10 years. They are the lifeblood of any organization. The guys that spend countless hours in different ballparks and cars, logging a ton of miles, hunting for the next DJ LeMahieu or Troy Tulowitzki. Well, Damon Iannelli, who works the Southeast, doesn't work Georgia anymore, but for a year he did, and he is the one that recommended, ended up signing Chris Nelson, as this is down the right field line for DJ LeMahieu. Here comes the Rockies' 4th run. Nelson has scored 3 of them. Now he signed Chris Nelson and Dexter Fowler. He's in attendance tonight.
Well, those
and
guys,
Nelly's had a large game.
Yeah, those guys work hard and they put a lot of miles on the car. And when you get nights like this with guys you've signed and you see the results, they make you proud. Jam shot from DJ LeMahieu, but stayed through the baseball and strong enough to hit it past Adrian Gonzalez. That's 2 RBIs on the evening for DJ.
Alan Matthews is now working the state of Georgia in the northern part of Florida. Those 2 guys are busy because that is a hotbed in this country, that southeastern corridor. And the Rockies have 2 terrific scouts in that area again, in Damon Iannelli and Alan Matthews.
And I think it's nice that they bring those guys in for 3 or 4 or 5 days to let them evaluate the guys that they sign, but also to see how this ballpark plays. Because they can take that knowledge when they go back out and look at a player and then say, will he fit in at playing at Coors Field? Is he athletic enough? And I think that sometimes you get trapped just watching amateur guys play, saying, oh yeah, they can play there, but until you come to the ballpark and observe it with your own 2 eyes.
It's such a fascinating aspect in the game of baseball, scouting, because you get news of a kid. It's a high school kid. He's in some remote area. And the word is you got to come see him. So you go out there, you drive 4 hours into the country, and the kid, goes 0 for 3 in a walk. And the weather was a little inclement, so they didn't take batting practice that day. And that's baseball. I mean,
that's what you get.
The kid may be the next Mickey Mantle, but he went 0 for 3 that day.
A hurricane could come in.
Right, and you didn't get a really good read on what he can do.
Right, and that's where you have to trust yourself. Go back if you have to. Watch him again.
Johnny Herrera with his 3rd hit of the night. How about the bottom of this lineup? 6 through 9. Nelson is 3 for 4 and has scored 3 runs. Triple, single, double. DJ LeMahieu 2 for 4, couple ribbies. Johnny Herrera is 3 for 4. The one time they got him out, it was a rocket to center.
And then Josh Rutledge with his RBI.
So Matt Belisle is going to hit for himself in a bunting situation.
Well, there's only one guy left on the bench, and that's Ramon Hernandez. They're going with the 4 guys as the bench players carrying the extra pitcher. Rafael Betancourt was getting loose, so Matt's being asked to sacrifice.
And I think this is a precursor to next year. You're going to see, particularly at Coors Field, I believe, a number of times where the Rockies go with the extra arm at home and go with 4. And Jordan Pacheco allows you that versatility.
Yes, because he can go behind the plate. If you needed him to catch 2 days a week or 3 days a week, he could do that. We saw him earlier this year when he hadn't caught at all since spring training, playing that game in San Diego, and played it really well. And then maybe when you go out on the road, you flip-flop it, you bring the extra position players depending on how long the road trip is.
I always hear opposition managers. Donnie Mattingly was talking about this today. Runners are going, and the Rockies put a hit and run out with Matt Belisle. Jim Tracy is really enjoying himself the last few weeks. He doesn't like the overall record. Trust me on that. Nobody does. But he has been able to be creative because his pitching staff has kept his club in games. And he's got a lot of guys that can execute plays. And
I'm not sure
what he's doing with a pitcher right now.
That was going to be my point. There was nobody of the 30,148 people that paid to come to watch this game was thinking, man, this sounds like a good time to hit and run.
1-2. They'll put the bunt back on, and Matt wasn't able to execute it, so it turns into a strikeout. And with 2 out, Tyler Colvin will come up. You know who was, well, I'll tell you in a moment. Let's tell you that if you want tacos, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Richie Dower's looking in the dugout because he has to pass the signs on to the base runners and the hitters. He said he probably had to look twice. Say, we got a hit and run going with Matt Belisle. Okay.
Did I see that right? I'm going to stall for a minute to let my brain process this.
And you know what? Nice job by the cerebral Matt Belisle and the 2 base runners, LeMahieu and Herrera, not to miss that sign.
Or to second guess it. To say, did I really just see that? I've got to trust what I saw, and I'm going.
This ball is well hit to deep center field by Colvin. Kept to the wall. Runs out of room. It's off the wall. 2 runs is scored. Colvin, a stand-up 2-run triple. And the Rockies lead it 6-0. What a night for Tyler Colvin.
Hit this as far as you can without it going out, and the Dodgers are concerned because of the grimace on Matt Kemp's face. He went full speed into that wall, and looks like he hurt his wrist. He didn't slow down, thought he had a chance to catch it. Ow. He's holding that wrist and thumb. That's the last thing the Dodgers wanted to see, is Kemp to pull up hurt.
Well, this is reminiscent, and you hope for the Dodgers' sake that it's nothing like that. But you remember what happened to Cargo last year when he ran into the wall, and his wrist didn't feel good again until early December. Rockies have blown it wide open. They're up 6-0 on Los Angeles. Colvin, a home run in the first and a 2-run triple a moment ago. It appears Matt Kemp is okay. The trainer checked on him. Don Mattingly ran out there to check on him. He'll stay in the game. And a young man that was just called up today from Albuquerque, Josh Wall, is now in the ball game.
That's part of the reason Don Mattingly was talking about.
Whoa.
They needed some arms.
He's got a big arm. He almost hit Jordan Pacheco with his first pitch.
They replaced Sean Tollison, who they sent out.
That is fair. A delayed call by Jim Reynolds. Colvin walks home. Pacheco's got an RBI double. The route is on. Tacos for everybody tomorrow.
Don Mattingly's going to come out and argue just the way it looked from Jim Reynolds.
I think there was self-preservation involved.
He was trying to get out of the way because the ball was hunting him. It was hooking, and he didn't know, do I go inside or outside the line? Because he's standing right on the line. How do I get out of the way? And it landed right on the line.
He got it right. There's the mark.
There.
And you know what? See all that work Jim's doing earlier in the day, working out, it helped him there. He moved quickly, and he still got the head around to see that it was fair. Cargo at the plate, and that's off of A.J. Ellis. Pacheco to third.
Take another look where this ball hits. Correct call.
Seven runs, 12 hits now for the Rockies. And again, we have tacos. Don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. 1-1 on Cargo. 2-1.
So much for trying to get Kenley Jansen some work.
He got the work.
Well, he did. Yeah, he got a 4 spot to show for it. 2/3 of an innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, all earned.
How often do you see that with your
All the
closer
time.
when you quote unquote are just getting him some work because he's been off for a while? You understand why managers do it, but often it doesn't work out the way they'd like. 2-1. I'll tell you what, the only thing that or the thing that would make this game complete for the Rockies is if Cargo could hit a laser somewhere right now and get him out of the funk he's been battling.
He'll take a laser, he'll take a swinging bunt, he'll take a flare, broken bat, anything.
3-2. I don't know if I've seen him struggle like this for a sustained period.
You'd have to go back a few years.
Since he first got to the big leagues with the Rockies. Just spending some time the year before with Oakland. He'll figure it out. Eight guys in the dugout yelled, "Straighten that out." Gets away, and Cargo's going to get the first. The run scores. 8-0 Colorado, and Don Mattingly would like to take it to the hotel about now. Strikeout, wild pitch, and Pacheco scores the 8th run.
Second wild pitch, and the way that A.J. Ellis had his glove looked like he was thinking it was going to be something else, that it was going to be a fastball, because he broke down and got into a blocking position real late.
Rockies have hit around here in the 8th. Rosario is 0 for 4. 3 strikeouts. This ball is well hit right center field, and it's gone. Home run number 21 for Rosario. And the Rockies, in a game that was low scoring, reminiscent of a Dodger Stadium affair, have turned this thing into a Coors Field affair. It is 10-0.
The strength of Rosario is on display with this swing of the bat. It's an impressive swing from a young man that has a lot of strength.
And he just tied Carlos Gonzalez for the club lead in home runs, with that being his 21st. Blackman came in as a defensive replacement, and he's going to end up with a couple of at-bats.
With that 21st home run, he's still roughly 160 at-bats less than Carlos Gonzalez.
Got some thought. Remember a conversation last year with Marv Foley, who was with the big league club last year in the same role that Jerry Weinstein has now, the big league catching instructor. And Marv's back down working with the minor league catchers, and you're talking about the home run potential of Rosario. I threw out the number 20. And he said, oh, he said he's going to hit 30 plus. He knew what he was talking about, naturally. 10-0 Colorado. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Jack in the Box. Get the All-American Jack Combo at Jack in the Box. It's a no-nonsense burger with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. And by Ram Trucks. Now get a great deal on a new Ram truck at the Ram Summer Clearance event going on right now. The Rockies threw a 7th spot out in the 8th inning. That's always a welcome sight. The Rockies buzzing around the bases. 10-0 they lead as we go to Joel Klatt in center field. Joel, what's happening?
Well, what's going on? We had these great topicals all set for that 3-0 game going on. Terrific pitchers duel, and those are out the window. Drew, what's going on in this ball game? Well, we're going to talk about it all in the Toyota post-game show. We've got grading on a curve. How about Jeff Francis? That last pitch to Shane Victorino, 68-mile-an-hour curveball. He was fantastic. We'll talk about him. And you remember when Josh Rutledge's ball was that hit was a big hit in this game? Yeah, I remember back then. No pinch nerves for him. 5 for 8 in the pinch with a home run.
Pinch nerves.
Yeah.
Good one, Joel.
I appreciate that, Huey.
Who came up with that?
That'd be Allison.
That's right.
Allison Vigil is
yes,
back, everybody.
Why is it every time that something clever, it's not you and it's always Allison?
What are you trying to say, Drew?
I'm just saying. But you know what? I give you credit. Rather than stealing it and saying that was all me, you were giving credit where the credit's due. So that's unselfish.
A wise man named Gary Klatt once told me that honesty is always the best policy.
Was it Gary Klatt who came up with that?
Well, I don't know if he came up with it. He said it to me a lot.
Look out. A roller to DJ LeMahieu, and Matt Belisle avoiding the lumper in the air as Adrian Gonzalez is going to take the collar 0 for 3. Joel, thank you. We'll check back with you in 2 more outs. Hanley Ramirez coming up in the 9th. Going to turn into a nice little return to 20th and Blake.
Yes, it is. Come off the road trip when you lost 2 out of 3 against the Cubs after you'd swept the Mets, but still a 5-2 road trip. You're coming home and playing the Dodgers and all their big names in the trade matchup. Beckett, Jeff Francis.
A lot of media here.
Yes. But it goes back to the old saying, the game's not played on paper.
Strikes the count on Hanley Ramirez. You know, Betancourt was going to come in the ball game when Joel had his his lines set to go for
shut it down.
The tease of the post game show, and Betancourt not going to work in a 10-0 ball game. Tell you what a big pitch was too. Back when it was 3-0, Huey. Matt Belisle's fearless. He has Matt Kemp with 2 men on, representing the tying run, and he gets him to hit into that 5-4-3 double play, and it was well done by everyone involved. Nelson, a good feed, the great turn by LeMahieu with Mark Ellis barreling into him, and Pacheco at first base.
With the pick, and that's why it was so nice to see from all the different guys, and Pacheco playing first base now, and Chris Nelson getting rid of the ball quickly. No fear from DJ to stand in there. And at that point, you're thinking, even if they don't turn the double play, I'll trade that out for a run, 2 outs in a 3-1 game. Instead, you're walking off the field happy.
Ground ball to second. LeMahieu. 2 outs. Andre Ethier, 2 comebackers and a strikeout. The strikeout against Rex Brothers. The Rockies will improve to 15-6 over their last 21 games. This one's not going to be caught.
They'll also improve to 11-6 in the Jeff Francis starts.
Think about that for a moment. That's pretty impressive on a club that's had all kinds of injuries, in a transformation as to how they do business on the pitching mound. And in games Jeff has started, 11-6.
We moved to 5-4.
Yeah, that really gets your attention. Jolie Chassin, Ramon Hernandez. Three and 1. Tomorrow the starters will be Tyler Chatwood and lefty Chris Capuano, is 11-9 for the Dodgers.
They can hold on with this shutout. The last time they had a shutout at Coors Field, July 15th, 2011, against Milwaukee.
A walk to Ethier.
I need to do more than that for the rally cap. Just turn around, don't damage the hat.
Luis Cruz 1 for 3. In the air to right field. This will do it. Blackman waiting. He's got it. Crowd stands and cheers. More than 30,000 in attendance. The Dodgers making all the headlines the last 48 hours with the enormous deal. And it's the Rockies, with all of their injuries, beating up Los Angeles tonight 10-0. It's their first shutout at Coors Field this year, and as Jeff mentioned, since July 15th of last year. It's their 5th shutout overall this year. It's their 43rd home shutout of all time. Tyler Colvin, 3 ribbies. He got things started with the long home run in the first. Jeff Francis gets the win. He's now 5-4. It's his 60th career victory in a Rockies uniform. And Josh Beckett, though he pitched well, he gets the loss in his Dodgers debut. And Matt Belisle is credited with a save because he came in when it was 3-0. Tonight's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Colvin shot in the first inning. Just missed hitting the facade of the third deck. And then he unloaded one to center field. This one went about 420 feet. It ended up being a 2-run triple. Nice night for Tyler Colvin, smiling ear to ear. Visit JimmyJohns.com to find a location near you. Stick around, it will be a most pleasant Toyota postgame show. Rockies win it. They shut out the Dodgers 10-zip.